we'll be sending out the recording afterwards, so your consultant will forward it. So first off, thank you so much again for joining us this evening and welcome. My name is Sherry Andrechuk and I am the franchise partner with Expedia Cruises in Surrey, Fleetwood area. I see many familiar faces on here, so thank you so much for joining us. It's so nice to see you guys. I miss everybody so much and so look forward to actually seeing everybody in person one day soon. I'm also here with my partner, Evan Lowther. He's our recorder there. And also the guy of the hour is Colin Price from Royal Caribbean. Hi, Colin. And you can see Colin is on the suite on one of the Oasis class ships. Which one are you on, Colin?
Symphony.
The Symphony. Perfect. One of my favorite ships. I love the Symphony. We were so blessed with being able to go on one of the inaugural sailings of the Symphony when it launched in Miami, right? We were in Miami, Miami. So it was fantastic. It's a beautiful ship. I highly recommend it. Unbelievable. So I won't take too much more of your time. Colin is going to take over the screen and start presenting, and he's going to take you on a tour of Royal Caribbean and a little bit around the world, share with you a bit of some pricing that's out there as well. And I know we're not traveling right now, but now's the time to start to really think about the future travel. We are booking into 22 and 23 sailings, and they are starting to fill up, just so everybody knows. People are planning and still dreaming, even though we can't travel today. So think about that. If there's something that gets you excited or you want to learn more, please reach out to us, your vacation consultant. We're happy to give you some more insight on that. If throughout this, as Brad mentioned, there is the chat feature. You're welcome to type your questions in there. Colin doesn't mind as well. We will do a Q&A at the end, but he doesn't mind throughout the process that if you have a question that's pertinent for what he's talking about, he's given me permission to interrupt him and ask your question. So please feel free to do so. And as I said, at the end, we will end with a Q&A. So Colin, I am going to stop talking and I'm going to ask you to take over and take us on a cruise. Please take us on a cruise, okay. Colin.
1 sec here. Oh.
Maybe
all right.
Not. Okay.
All right. Did that just load up there by chance?
I think see
you should have my smiley face coming up. All right.
Perfect.
So thank you everybody for spending a bit of time here with me. I appreciate this. I'm just going to take you a little intro. I realize this is my 25th year in the cruise industry, so I've had a few hats on over the years, but my journey started at a much younger age, and this was, I think, about my 5th or 6th cruise when I was getting to meet one of the captains on board. And so I wanted to keep that tradition alive, and fast forward all 35 odd years later, and I'm now taking my little guy traveling as well. So that's my son Jackson and my wife Heather, and that was his first cruise. You got to be age 6 months to cruise, and he is 6 months and 1 day at that point in time. So that was a good starting phase. So can't wait to get him back on to the next one. So today I thought I would talk about a few things such as health and safety, some of our award-winning ships, the destinations around the world that we cruise to, and some of our private islands. Now, talking about health and safety, obviously there's a lot happening right now and what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do. Our main goal is health and safety is a priority #1 always. You probably remember years ago about Norwalk virus and scenarios like that. We've had Purell stations set up on ships for years, 20 plus years. I think every major cruise line really has. And you would have to Purell your hands before you come onto the ship. We'd gone even a step further and taken guest feedback from around the Purell to people saying, I don't like that. So we actually built on the ship wash your hands stations. So when you'd walk into the buffet area, we would have stations where you could wash your hands versus using the Purell station. So those are things we were already doing in these phases already. So there will be additional protocols, temporary. These are quite a few of these are very fluid of having to do, but then there's going to be other things like the ventilation, which will just become the new normal. And we actually have an amazing panel. We partnered with one of our other competing cruise line, but when it comes to health and safety, we're all on the same page. So we actually put together this panel of all these specialists that really can help us fine tune to make sure we are going above and beyond what Main Street North America would be doing in a regular hotel or a restaurant. One other thing that we were working on already prior to COVID-19 was the muster station drill. Now, if anybody's cruised, I'm sure most have here, but that is one thing that none of us like is doing the muster drill. It's just, it is what it is that we have to do. So we originally looked at how if you haven't cruised, has anybody not cruised out of curiosity? Is there any hands that haven't cruised? Looks like all hands are, all right, everybody's cruising, great news. All right, so as we remember, you've had to put your life jacket on, you used to have to go stand outside, get checked off as they called your name. So we fast forward, we were like, well, all right, how can we do this better? So we had you go to a lounge instead. We had a scan your room key to kind of check in, and you didn't have to bring your life jacket. It was already there in the lounge. Fast forward, this is what we were working on already, was to get away from the big groups and having you go outside or to a lounge. If you have a smartphone, you can do that, or a tablet. You can now do your muster drill from your smartphone or tablet on the ship, or the TV in your room if you would like. So this, and we have open source this, meaning other cruise lines are welcome to use this technology moving forward as well. Right now, the minimum standard, I believe, for a hotel for the air to be circulated through is 6 times per hour. We've done everything we can to try and do double that. So in your stateroom, for example, you'd have fresh air coming through 12 times per hour versus what the regular kind of standard is. We bring air through on the one side of the ship, comes through and ventilates out the other. So you're not getting that any sort of stale air at all. So just kind of give you a couple little ideas of things that are doing that will continue to be the normal at the end. We are actually now celebrating 50 years bold. I like that. So if anybody asks you how old you are, you can answer, I am this many years bold instead. So I like that answer on that. So this is a really cool picture where you can see our very first ship up until our most recent, the Symphony of the Seas here. Actually, technically, we do have a newer ship out now, but Symphony is still technically the largest as we speak. So talking about our different ships, we have a whole bunch of different classes and different sizes of ships. So we have our Vision class, Radiant, Voyager, which are the first of our mega liners. They were the first ones to have like an ice rink on board, the rock climbing. They really did deliver that wow. From there, we made the Freedom class a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. And from the Freedom, we actually went into the Oasis class, and we had the Oasis and the Allure, and then we built the Quantum class. But the reason I put it in this order is the Quantum class is actually slightly smaller than the Oasis, where historically we would kind of build and keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But on our most recent class ships, the Quantum class, we went a little bit smaller. So, and the best way I could describe our brand in a couple words or less is quality meets energy. And you're going to see that throughout the different images on board as well here. Now, I could talk about all of our ships all day long, but I think we've only got 3 hours, right? No, I'm kidding. I won't be 3 hours. But we've only got a bit of time, so I'll highlight a few of the ships here for you, and maybe next time we could look at a couple of the other ships. So our Quantum class, these are our most tech-savvy ships, and I'll come back to the elephant in the room, North Star, in a second. That you kind of looking at that, probably scratching your head, but we'll come back to that in a second here. So with the Quantum class, there is a lot of new firsts at sea. First off, skydiving at sea. That's Ripcord by iFly. I know in Calgary, they actually have a Ripcord by iFly station, and it's $135 for 30 seconds, or you can do it for free. So if you've never had the chance to jump out of a perfectly fine airplane and you would like to do it in a much safer environment, this is a great place to do it. And I'm kicking myself because I forgot to put this picture in here, but my own family who love to cruise, my mom's 75, dad's 80. I have a really fabulous photo of my mom getting an instant facelift in here. She's 75 and she's done this numerous times. I haven't seen her ride a bike in 30 years, but there she was in doing Ripcord by iFly. Well, this is being recorded, isn't it? She's going to hear this later. Oh, well. A couple other things that we've done too is these ships were designed as cold weather ships. Now, traditionally, the basketball courts or tennis courts are on the outer deck, and that takes up a lot of real estate. So we looked at that and thought, let's move the basketball courts inside for the kids. Now, I don't know about you, but I have no desire to play basketball on a cruise. That's not my thing. I have no desire to it. And that's what I love is Royal Caribbean looks at how we can utilize the space. So certain times, yes, it's set up as a basketball court. Other times, you can see in the top left picture, there's bumper cars. And you know what the average age is? If you have the chat feature, try and put a guess of what you think the average age is on the bumper cars out there. So if you have the chat feature, try and throw a number out there and we'll see who's the closest on that. A couple of the other fan favorites from our Voyager class, and I see a 50 out there. Okay, we're getting close. We brought back the Flow Rider, so the surf simulator is very, very popular. And then, of course, we have multiple different pool areas, the indoor pools as well, because, again, generally traveling to more colder destinations. Now, we have a lot of different restaurants, and I could highlight quite a few of them, but I thought I would just showcase one called Wonderland. This is that Alice in Wonderland, Mad Hatter kind of concept. The easiest way I can describe is it's like you're eating in somebody else's dream. It is the most bizarre experience from start to finish. Your picture frame, or your menu is a blank picture frame that you paint onto it, and then your menu appears in front of you. I don't know what half that stuff is, like that top right image. I'm not sure what that is I ate, but it was delicious. So I highly recommend it at least once in your cruise as well. So this is a restaurant called Wonderland, very different. If you still want your traditional steakhouse, absolutely, your seafood, we have these options as well. You've probably heard of Jamie Oliver and seen him on TV at some point in time, or one of his cookbooks. We have his Italian kitchen on board. So I was just showing a little bit of Jamie Oliver's. Actually, at lunch, he does these burgers. They are delicious. One and done. You might ruin your dinner having lunch there, truthfully. All right. When we start to look at all the different levels of entertainment, there's a lot of different venues on board. There's the main showroom at the front, but I wanted to showcase just at the after the ship. This is an area called 270. And actually, as you walk into 270, there's this great little cafe in the morning to get a coffee, bakery, grab those goods, and you can sit in here and you've got this stunning 270-degree view, okay? Now, I want to make a little note. If you see those little gold circles, the lights at the top, and you see those little the planter right in front of us there, just right in that first image, we use this same lounge and we transform this into another venue that we do shows in the evening. But obviously we don't have a backstage like a traditional theater then. So where do the entertainers came from? They come flying out of the ceiling and out of that planter. I was sitting right there when a saxophone guy popped out. I'm like, wow, like I am in the show. Before you can see where those dancers are up there. There was seating up in that area before. So it's really amazing how we do this. We use what's called 8K projectors. You've probably heard of 4K TVs now. We've been using 8K projectors to project in there, and we can give this amazing animation on that. This lounge cost more money than the first 2 Royal Caribbean ships combined, which is pretty incredible. I told my wife I'd like something like this as our main living room. So I've got to keep saving, I think, a bit more. All right. Jumping over to our Oasis class. Now, honestly, these are a few of my favorite ships. This is what really wowed me. Before working at Royal Caribbean, I actually used to work on board cruise ships. I worked on ships for close to 10 years. And I worked on almost every major cruise line but Royal Caribbean. And it wasn't until I stepped foot on an Oasis class as a passenger and was jaw dropped at how amazing these ships are. Now, what makes these ships so special is what's called a neighborhood concept. Because, for example, what Jane might be in the mood for could be very different than what maybe Evan is in the mood for. So it's a matter of finding what neighborhood is right for you. So kind of starting off up and first off in the adult solarium area at the front of the ship. This area here, you could fit on a sea day easily about 250 people up here. And I'd say there's honestly probably 30, 40 people up here on an average day at sea. It's hard to believe that it's just this oasis that is really right there. So it is absolutely spectacular. One of my favorite areas. As we move to the very after the ship on that top corner, actually, I don't know if you can, do you see my mouse as I move it along here? Do you see this purple thing here? I don't actually have it. That's it here. And this is called the Ultimate Abyss. And I actually don't have a picture of it close up in here, but this is a dry slide with a glass bottom floor that you get in. And there's 2 slides and they shoot down basically 10 stories in about 6 seconds, which is really, really cool. So this is kind of like that sport zone area where we do have on this ship, the outdoor basketball courts, the flow rider, the mini golf, different little cafes and burger joints. On the Symphony and Oasis has a really great Mexican restaurant there. And then of course we move into
I have to interrupt you, Colin, because I have to
Mhm.
share a story with everybody on that fun ride you just talked about.
Ah, that's too
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. We were on the symphony on the inaugural that I mentioned, and I had just gotten on board, and I was sitting in the boardwalk enjoying a bite to eat, and I heard this really loud scream, and it sounded like a girl screaming coming all the way down, and I was sitting there, and much to my surprise, there was Colin coming out screaming like a very young girl.
100% true. I cannot deny
Yes, it
any of
is.
that. Yeah, so that's yeah, very, very true. I believe you were sitting down at Playmakers, which was a new sports bar that's been added there. It's a
Yes,
great venue. I do have some pictures of one of the other ships that has that sports bar, but it is so true. That thing was terrifying. I actually did a really good video from the top of it where I was walking in there, and I was basically doing it as a post I wanted to show everybody. I'm like, this is amazing here. Now my wife didn't know what was coming, just knew we were going down this slide. Then when I mentioned, I'm like, and if you look at straight down, you see it's a straight glass all the way down. And well, the next few words that came out of her mouth did not allow me to post that video. So it was a bit terrifying when you first look down and not know that that's coming. But yeah, that is the ultimate abyss. Now, from what's really great about not to say anything negative about most traditional cruise ships, but most traditional cruise ships, you have a showroom at the very front of the ship and the main dining room at the aft of the ship and a casino in the middle. And you usually walk through that midship area to get there. Now, what's really great about an Oasis class ship is there's multiple different levels that things are happening on. So first off, this area here called Central Park up in the top left, this is this beautiful area. It's got over 14,000 trees and plants in this area. And if we were to look straight up, this kind of, I'm just going to hover my mouse over here. This whole section here is fully open. And so this pool area, if I was to look over the side here, this is only half of the ship. Then it would open up, and on the other side would be another one of these pools, and then another pool and another pool. There's a kiddie pool over there. But Central Park is all the way in the area down this whole section. You could take the Eiffel Tower, pop it on its side, and it would fit inside of our Central Park with all those trees and plants. If you're looking for your quiet spot and you want to sit and relax, this is the place to go. One of my favorite things in the evening is just sitting in Central Park. There's usually a couple cello players playing Phantom of the Opera, and I think it is the most relaxing moment that you can possibly have is up in the Central Park area. Just another picture of kind of what that looks like as you're walking through, and you can see it is open to the area where traditionally most traditional cruise ships, if you're walking outside, you're on an outer deck and your hair is blowing and you come back in like Albert Einstein at the end of that, right? So this is really nice that you can walk through and not have your hair blown a million different directions. Now, when it comes to entertainment, I don't know if a few of you overheard, we were talking about the show Cats. We actually do have the real Broadway production shows on board. So shows like Cats, Mamma Mia, Hairspray, these are the full Broadway production shows. We actually do more Broadway production shows a year than Broadway. That's just incredible to me as well. We also have a few of the ships have different Tony Award winning ships, and then we actually do have our own entertainment on board. But besides the main theater at the front, we also have like different jazz clubs around, the ice rink, which honestly is probably one of the coolest shows, slight pun intended. So it is an ice rink in the daytime, but then these shows with the figure skaters on there, amazing how they can pull off these backflips and stuff on there. So you are on the world's largest cruise ship with the world's smallest Zamboni. It is really adorable when you look at that thing. When we get into the kids area as well, there's so many things to do for the kids on board. Every one of our counselors that work on there have a 4-year university degree in international equivalent of education, recreation, or in related in that field. They'll have 3 to 5 years previous experience, work experience as well, from the ages 6 months to 17. And we break down all the children's ages as well. So we don't have like a bunch of 4-year-olds in with a bunch of 9-year-olds. We basically break down all the ages. So we have 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 11, 12 to 14, 15 to 17. I was on one of our quantum class ships actually a while ago, and the hotel director actually asked, he goes, to our group that we had, he goes, how many children do you think are on this cruise right now? And I know I should have known better. I'd seen maybe 10. So I was like, I don't know, 80. like taking a guess. Like I got to be wrong on that note. Everybody else is like in our group was like, there's no more than 20 kids. He was like, there's 1,100 kids on this cruise. I'm like, where have you locked them up? Are they in the closet? Like, what have you done with them? And it's because the children have their own dedicated section. And let's be honest, they don't want to be where we are either, right? So you've got your spot. They have theirs. They've got their own, the teens have their own dedicated area where they can have mocktails. They've got their own movie theaters for watching shows. They've got their own everything. So they are very, very, very well taken care of. The hardest thing you're going to have to do is trying to get them to come to dinner. So that's when you're like, and then from down below Central Park, if we were to go basically, I think it's about 4 decks down, that picture that just popped up right now, that's the Royal Promenade. And this is kind of the heart of the ship. And it's really a great meeting area. So if one of you has a room at the front and one has a stateroom at the back, a great areas, maybe meeting at the Starbucks there. So, but there's like an Irish pub, a Latin nightclub in there, Starbucks, pizzeria. That place is very busy around 2 a.m. But a lot of great gift shops, but it's just a good meeting spot to kind of walk along nicely as well. And then all the way at the aft, this is our boardwalk area. Those little squiggly lines there, that there is the ultimate abyss that we saw above that Sherry pointed out where she heard me come screaming out. So she would have been just sitting over there on the right, having a nice cocktail, I'm sure, sitting and relaxing in that area. All right. So from here, I'm going to hop us over into the Aqua Theater. So this is all the way at the aft of the ship, behind where that slide is. And this is another one of our outdoor theater. So you're probably seeing a little video play. It might be skipping a little bit, but it at least gives you an idea. So we actually have Olympic divers that are diving all the way up from where that top, if I move my mouse all the way up here. So from all the way up here, they're diving in this top spot here. There's also mid trampolines. It is really fabulous. And then we actually have like a person that walks like a high line wire across. So I think there's a couple little videos of that coming. So on any given night, you could go out and watch a show either on ice, in the air, in the water, or on stage. And that's why Royal Caribbean really does deliver the wow when it comes to entertainment, and why we continue to win year after year best entertainment at sea. And there really is never a bad moment. Now, there's a lot of great seating here, but if you really want to take your entertainment to that next level, you can see those balconies that are located there after the Aqua Theater there. So I'm going to take you a little bit closer. Let's have a little bit of a closer look inside of one of those suites up there. So this should just kind of zoom right up. So this is one of we have 1 and 2 bedroom Aqua Theater suites. So this is really the best way, I think, to enjoy a show. So you can actually have the suite with a full wraparound balcony. That's part of the ocean view of the balcony. This is your full balcony, your own private balcony. So you can sleep 6 guests comfortably here. And then inside you have a beautiful living room. This suite is part of our Star Class, which basically means it is fully all-inclusive. So again, your dining, your gratuities, your Wi-Fi, full butler service for on our ships. We call them our genies. If you wanted to have chopped steakhouse dinner out on your patio during the Aqua Theater show, they will arrange that for you. So this is my favorite suite that we have on board. There's one other that I haven't stayed in that I might be a little biased to as well. I'll show you a couple pictures of that in just a second. Now, I mentioned about our Voyager class, the first ones that really kind of put that wow out there. And when we went back, we wanted to kind of refit these ships, and we called it what's called reamping them. And we want to take these ships back to life, refocusing on the activities to do on board, really taking our dining to the next level and improving the pool areas around as well. So these were a few of the things, and these 6 ships have currently been reamped. And so everything you're seeing from this very Instagrammable bamboo bar, tiki bar, to new water slides that are all the way at the aft of the ship, to our Playmaker sports bar. So if you want to watch the big game, you name a game, it's going to be playing for you on here. On the Oasis, this is that one that's actually open up into that outdoor area as well. So this is a great place to just grab a burger and fries or chicken wings or whatever you like. And then you'll notice this thing called Skypad. That says like bouncing trampoline thing that you can wear these VR goggles like you're playing a video game at sea. I tried it. I was bouncing so high. I thought I was jumping off the ship. I think I was probably barely going 3 feet in the air when I watched my video later. But I had a blast on that thing. Would I want to do it a second time on the cruise? Probably not. But for a complimentary activity, it's just another free activity to do on board. It was definitely entertaining. This laser tag that's being played as well, that is actually being used in the ice rink. So we're just looking at how to utilize space over and over again. So very, very clever designs. So ships in our future, fast forward over the next 5 years, we have another 6 ships coming out. 2 more Oasis, 1 more Quantum, and 3 brand new Icon class. Actually, our Odyssey, truthfully, is out now. We have taken possession. Wonder of the Seas is coming very soon in 2022. She will be our 5th of our Oasis class, and she will be heading over to Asia. All I can tell you about the Icon class is that it will be larger than a Quantum class ship, but smaller than an Oasis. That's all they'll tell me because they know I would 100% tell everybody anything else I know. So now we talked about a few of our rooms. I showed you the Aqua Theater suite staterooms, the 1 and 2 bedroom options that we have. So I just like to show this. This is we've got a regular inside room. The top center option is an inside stateroom with a virtual balcony. So that's an 85-inch LED TV hooked up to live cameras around the ship. So if this gets darker at night, that would get darker at night. If we were sailing into Miami, you would see Miami there as well. We have our traditional ocean view rooms. We have balconies that face inward as well. So into that Central Park area or into the boardwalk, that Coney Island experience. So you can actually have balconies that face in versus out. And sometimes these staterooms, the difference between the cost between an ocean view to a balcony is $25 total for the week. So sometimes it's not a big cost difference because let's be honest, it'd be much nicer to have a balcony than an ocean view. Now, when we come to our suites as well, you can see on the bottom right corner, actually the top right corner was our Aqua Theater suite that we were looking at before. And then we had our Royal Loft Suite, which was located in the bottom right. And our chairman had his grandchild on board, and his grandchild would be like, oh, I wish there's a slide in here. So marketing went back to marketing, they redesigned, and they designed the ultimate family suite. So this is one I said, I think I would like to try out with a couple of my friends and my little guy as well. So you actually have 4 bunk beds on the one side that tuck back into the walls. You've got your master suite with TVs that like pop out of the ceiling. There is 3 bathrooms, so the kids have their own bathroom, restroom. You've got yours. There is one downstairs. Air hockey. You've got a rock climbing wall, foosball table, private hot tub, full butler service. I think I could handle this for a week. Get it, hands up. Anybody like to try this out of curiosity? One of those? Yeah. All right. So this is a little peek at what. Yeah, that's our ultimate family suite. So that is currently only on the Symphony of the Seas and the Wonder, and I believe Spectrum. So for our North American market, Symphony of the Seas is our current only ship that this is on. For anybody traveling with accessible travel needs, we do have suites with elevators in the stateroom as well. So I'm just going to move my mouse down here to that bottom right corner. So where that little door is there, that would actually be an elevator that would take you from one floor up to the other. So if you are traveling in a chair, we do have those suites that do have those elevators in the room. Talking about remarkable destinations, so we travel to over 300 destinations around the world, 6 continents, over 30 home ports, 2 private islands that you can currently go to. We do have more that are in the works, and many, many shore excursions. So I won't bore you with all 300 destinations. I'll highlight a few just to kind of go through. But starting in our own backyard, so I'm actually based in Richmond myself, so I'm probably just down the road from most people here on the call. But Alaska essentially is in our backyard. Now I mentioned about North Star. I said I would come back to that elephant in the room. This is North Star. So imagine being in this jewel capsule that actually takes you all the way up and basically hangs over 300 meters above that sea level as well. So it gives you this stunning view, which is honestly incredible that you can just have these great photos at that point. So we actually have 2 Quantum class ships. So there's the Quantum and the Ovation. Both of these ships cruise round trip out of Seattle. There are a couple unique itineraries where she will come back into Vancouver, but it's a one-off that happens because we have to time it to get underneath the bridge as well. But you will find the odd cruise, I believe September 30th of 2022 two off the top of my head. Ovation is sailing from Vancouver to Hawaii, which actually is a very unique sailing as well. But we also have our Radiance class. In the Radiance class, we have two ships in the Radiance class. So I'm going to show you the two Radiance class ships. Both are based out of Vancouver. The Radiance actually will do the northbound, southbound cruises. So if you want to really get up and truly experience what Alaska has to offer, getting up and seeing Denali in the national parks, this really is the best option for you. However, if you do like the convenience of just getting on a ship in Vancouver and getting off a ship in Vancouver, we have the Serenade doing the round trip Vancouver option. So you have multiple options. I really am a huge fan of the Quantum class out of Seattle. I actually did it myself a couple of years ago as well. That you saw Jackson's first cruise that I took him on. And I just think with all of the amenities and things to do. So it just comes down to what is your priority within inside of this trip as well. Do you want to truly see Alaska? Then Radiance. You want the convenience of just get on in Vancouver and off in Vancouver? You got Serenade. Give up 3 hours of drive time and you've got the Quantum class. So gives you a bit of an idea on that. So fast forward, let's jump over to Europe really quickly here. So in Europe, we have a lot of ships. We actually have two more of the Radiance class ships. So we were just talking about the Radiance and the Serenade. Also in the family is the Brilliance and the Jewel. So those are sister ships as well. Then we have our two Quantum class. So in the Quantum class, we have the Anthem and the Seas, and then we have the Odyssey. So the Odyssey is our newest that I said we were just taking delivery of. I'm going to talk about her in a little bit. And then we actually have the Voyager, Vision, and Allure. The Allure is one of our Oasis class ships. I'm going to highlight a couple itineraries just to show you a little bit of Europe at that point. So in Europe, we have multiple different home ports. I mean, you can start your cruise in any of these destinations. So whether it be Stockholm, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Southampton, Rome, Venice, and now Cyprus added to the mix as well. So these are all our different home ports that we're starting. So you can, there's honestly hundreds of different itineraries, so many different back-to-backs. I didn't put the one in there, but what the Jewel of the Seas has been selling phenomenally up. Multiple 12-night cruises out of Amsterdam where you could do 12-night Norwegian fjord, 12-night around Iceland, and then 12 nights going up and doing a Baltic cruise. So you could do 36 nights essentially, and you're only doubling on Amsterdam as a home port, which is not a bad thing. So let's start off here in Rome. I'm just going to take you into Rome to start. And from Rome, we have actually the brand new Odyssey of the Seas. Now, actually, right now, we are starting her, and she's only cruising out of Tel Aviv for locals only right now. So as she's currently sailing, that is what she's available for. She will shift very soon, and she's going to be doing the based out of Rome, the Greek Isles. And there's some fabulous price points that Expedia has for them. I'm going to come back to some of those price points in a second. This is our newest of our Quantum class, but with a few of those features that you saw that were like being reamped, applied onto this ship. So really an awesome ship and some great price points on here. So you saw the sky pad that we talked about earlier with that like bouncing trampoline. We did change from Jamie Oliver's back to Giovanni's Italian Kitchen on this particular ship. It's got that adult solarium in there. We have our Mexican restaurant, and then again, the bumper cars. And I saw a bunch of guesses on there. And yeah, so around 55 plus is around the average age for the bumper cars to answer that question. I saw a few that came in on that chat as well. I would have thought the kids would have been all over it, but they're busy in other areas, and which is great. So you want to go try the bumper cars out, it's there for you. So we have features again like North Star, the bumper cars, some amazing pool areas, Ripcord by iFly, the surf simulator, tons of different activities on this particular ship. Now, we started off down in a bit of Southern Europe. I'm going to jump up to the north here. Going out of Copenhagen, I think this is one of two very unique cruises. I pulled up a little bit of a couple price points, but if we were to cruise out of Denmark up to Sweden, through Norway, down back into Denmark here, 7 nights, August 28th, so next summer, 7 nights right now. I looked up Canadian fares, including all taxes, so there's no extra add-ons to these numbers. The price is the price. You're looking an inside room right now for about $1,284, $17 for an ocean view or a balcony, which I think realistically is your best option, of course, is indoor balcony or into one of the suites. The $19.45 is what you would see on a Royal Caribbean website. Now, I work very, very closely, as you know, with Jerry, Evan, Jane, the whole team here. And these guys do a fabulous job of negotiating prices with us very far in advance. Meaning, as soon as our deployment opens, the team usually will hold space, meaning they're putting money down deposit and they're holding space a year or 2 years in advance. And what happens by doing this is, fast forward to today, for example, when we look at what their price is, Jerry, I hope you're okay that I'm sharing this information out, but this is the price that you would get if you book it through Expedia Cruise Ship Center. So looking at that balcony, for example, my price at Royal Caribbean, if you were to phone Royal Caribbean, you're going to be told it's $19.45 per person Canadian, including all taxes. Or you could support a local business, work with an expert that really focuses in and knows the difference as well between all the ships and everything, and will save you hundreds of dollars at a time. Now, the only thing better than this cruise is when this cruise ends, the best option you could do is stay on the ship. So when this 7-night cruise ends, then what we're going to do is we are going to, from Copenhagen, we're going to make our way back up. There's only one port that doubles up on here, which isn't a bad thing. So we're going to go back up to Norway one more time. And from here, we are going to make a little bit of a crossing and we're going to head up into Iceland. We're going to have an overnight in Reykjavik. And then from Reykjavik, we're actually going to go all the way around to the other side of the island, up to Iceland as well. Has anybody been to Iceland out of curiosity? Any hands up that have been to Iceland? I think it is impossible to take a bad photo. Jane, would you agree on that? Like, it is so breathtaking, such a cool area. You will experience all 4 seasons in the span of about 9 minutes. But this is a great way to do it. So having that overnight, there's fabulous tours. I can't express how awesome this cruise is, just really getting to get up there and experience it. Now, what's really special is when we do leave Iceland, we head over to Greenland. So we actually have 2 stops in Greenland. And then from Greenland, we continue and we make our way back over to North America and we head over to Boston. And I honestly have to say, if I had to live in the States, I'd put Boston in one of my top areas. I think Boston is such a fabulous area. I think I stick to West Coast because I'm a West Coast guy myself as well. And I like our sunshine that we have. But Boston in the summertime, like this time of year, what a great time. Newberry Street, fabulous shopping. You got the universities. It's just such a beautiful city. So I think it's a great area to go and have a post cruise, have a few days in Boston. Or if you wanted, you could stay on this ship and go up to Canada, New England, and we do a couple Canada, New England cruises, and there's some amazing price points. But first on this one, starting off with our inside staterooms, they start at about $3,500, go up to about $7,500 for this voyage. However, look at the savings that Expedia Cruise Ship Centers can offer you. That's $2,500 per person less, which is amazing, essentially. So with that saving, basically pays for that other cruise, essentially, right? So I just like to showcase there's some huge savings. There's a lot of other perks out there, but I'm just going based on the price point, supporting a local business, working with your local expert as well. Now, we are cruising as we speak. So June is our first cruise back. The Adventure of the Seas will be cruising. This is Perfect Day at Coco Cay in the background. We'll come back to that in just a minute. One of the other most popular cruises that I'm seeing being booked from Western Canada right now is the Grandeur of the Seas cruising round trip starting in Barbados. And it's, which is pretty incredible. Now, for us coming from the West Coast, we're always having to make a stop along the way, whether it's to get to Miami, we're going via Chicago or Toronto or wherever to get there. If you connect through Toronto, there's direct flights from Toronto right down into Barbados, flying on Air Canada's Dreamliner. Great way to start the flight or start your trip. Starting in Barbados, there's some amazing packages with hotel stays in advance. And I was looking at the price of entry. I didn't put the numbers in here, but it's close to a 50% savings. Sherry, do you remember that numbers I said off the top of your head when we were looking at this earlier? It was like 2,400 versus like that, something like that.
Versus 13.
Yeah, I think you were 1,300 for this, and I'm selling it for about $2,400. It was like close to 50% off, and incredible savings. But that was December 5th is when we are sailing for 2021. So if you are thinking for something at the tail end of 2021, you're like, you know what, I need some sunshine in my life, a little quick getaway. this might be the ship for you. 7 nights, 7 ports. You're gonna need a vacation at the end of this cruise though, because it's so port heavy on that. So luckily the following week we do a different itinerary, and then there is that 14 alternate cruise stay as well, which I think it's got about 12 ports on that particular voyage. Now, Oasis of the Seas. Personally, I think I am going to be booking this cruise myself. So if you land up booking this, I might see you there. In the background there, that is the Ultimate Abyss. So that's that slide that you climb into and then drop down 2 of you at a time. I'm pretty sure that's a picture of me doing the flow rider there. I'm pretty sure my hair was wavy at some point. That could have been me. All right. So Oasis of the Seas, 11-night sailing, holiday departure, starting off in Miami. This is our $1 billion cruise terminal that we are cruising out of as well. Our average boarding time, we were really excited before that we got it down to about 30 minutes for your average boarding time from your taxi through security to getting on the ship. On many of our ships now, we're down to an average boarding time of 14 minutes to get from, again, this is with no suite access, no status with us. If say it was your first time cruising with Royal Caribbean, your average boarding time from taxi through security, getting your photo taken, getting on there. And I can talk about how we do that. But the biggest part of that is this $1 billion cruise terminal that we are. From Miami, we are going to cruise to Labadee. Now, Labadee is one of our 2 private islands. Now, what makes Labadee so special is the fact that we have a real dock. With our other island, like Perfect Day, for example, for the longest time did not have a dock. And when you don't have a dock, if it's rough, the weather's not good, again, our safety, our priority number 1 is your safety. So we would go to another destination or maybe a day at sea versus actually stopping. So having a dock really secures us actually arriving into Labadee. Now, Labadee was the first kind of thing that offered the thrill and chill. So if you want to ride the zip lines or the roller coasters through the jungle or whatever we have that adventure side of it for you. Or you can head over to like get a private cabana, overlook the beach. We've got cabanas on the beach. So whether you want the thrill or chill, this was really delivering it. So that was Labadee, which is located in Haiti. Actually, this picture in the background now, this is still inside of the Oasis class. So this is that Central Park area that we were looking at area, which to give you an idea, remember when I said you could look straight up and you see outside? This gives you an idea of how wide that is between, there's still a whole entire pool on one side and another pool on the other side as well. Give a bit of perspective of how large this ship is. All right, from here, we're gonna head over to Costa Maya where you can check out some of the ruins. From Costa Maya, we're gonna make our way over into Roatan. If you're a scuba diver, this is a great space for scuba diving. So we're gonna head into Honduras from here. And then from Honduras, we are actually going to make our way back to Cozumel. Cozumel, obviously, from Cozumel, you can head over to Playa del Carmen. You could do a Jeep tour. You could head to Tulum. Cozumel is just a great destination, has really lots to offer. If you've been to Cozumel, you know, for me personally, my day when I'm in Cozumel, I've been there probably more times than anybody should. I'm going to guess I've probably been to Cozumel, I don't know, 700 times. Remember, I worked on ships for years, so that was it. So anytime I'm in Cozumel, I'm doing a vanilla run. I'm going to pick up vanilla, head into the local grocery market, and then I have a favorite little pub around the corner, which I like just to sit at and to hang out. So that's my day in Cozumel. But there's so many fabulous activities, or you could have just a beautiful chill day at the beach. Now, from Cozumel, we are going to head over to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Now, remember I mentioned when we were talking about Labadee that Perfect Day for the longest time did not have an actual dock. We reinvested $250 million into Coco Cay and transformed it to the Perfect Day. And now you can see in the background, there is a real dock there. Now, going in a little bit closer, we broke up this island into really 2 sections. We took that idea of thrill and chill and times it by 10. Out of curiosity, who here, if you want to throw in the chat, who wants to get on a vacation and is just looking to chill? You just want to relax, kick your feet up and do really nothing. Or who wants to have adventure, try it all, have that adventure side? Who's looking for the thrill? Put in there in the little chat for me, who's a chill, who's a thrill? I'll take you on a bit of a tour as we kind of go both through this as well. I got some chill off the bat, got a lot of chill. All right. I found now that I'm traveling, Jenna, you're going to be actually with me as well. I'll show you where you and I are going to be staying as everybody else is at chilling. A little bit of both. All right, Glenn, so we got a little bit of both for you. All right. So funny, I've got two different maps here. I'm going to go back one. This is the original map. Since then, back in January, we actually added more features in January of 2020, except then the world got shut down in March. So all of these features are essentially brand new that were kind of added in there, from a plane shipwreck. Is it a plane shipwreck? A plane wreck, I guess you could say, that we added into there as well. A couple other little neat features, but there's some very cool extra additions that we've now added over. So first off, we have the largest freshwater pool in all of the Caribbean. As you walk in from the other side, it kind of feels like you're walking onto like a gym mat. So it's not like a hard surface that you're walking onto. It's kind of like spongy as you kind of walk in. There's all these little alcoves. If you have a drink package on the ship, your drink package works on the island. If you have a internet package on the ship, your internet package will work on the island. We actually do sell a boozy internet package. And I kind of laughed when I first saw that. I thought, who's going to buy that? And then I totally booked it because I was like, actually, I need the boozy internet package. That sounds really helpful, actually. So, and then on the other side of the island, if you want to even take your chill to another next level, this is our Coco Beach Club. And this is an exclusive area that really includes a higher end specialty dining like steak and lobster, fresh grouper for lunch. You basically have access to all this little whole area. It's just a really great way to kind of increase. So first off, you've got your overwater bungalows. I always kind of try and say this is kind of like Tahiti meets Las Vegas. And what I mean by that is if you think of Las Vegas and you see like, you go to a pool in Vegas, there's cabanas by the pool there. This is the same idea as the cabana by the pool, except our cabanas are overwater bungalows. So this is what we have here. Located in the far left over there, that little circle over here, this is one of my favorite areas to head to. That is a swim out bar. That is the true swim out bar. So you've heard of swim out bar? This is a swim out bar. And you can walk out there, or sometimes you can walk out there. Even as you go further out and around, you could walk for about 25 minutes and barely be up to about knee height in water. So it's very, very cool that the one side obviously is deep enough for a ship, the other side that you could walk out for miles and miles and miles. Now kind of onto that to the thrill side of it. This is actually the tallest water slide in all of North America. This is 135 feet. And Sherry, if you heard me scream on the other side, you should have heard me on this slide. Oh my gosh, this thing is terrifying. Actually, there's one that's in the middle here. That's the scarier one than the one at the top. The one on the top is actually very relaxing because you just go around and around and around. It's pretty fun. The one in the middle, there's two of them, and you get inside of it, and they close this capsule, and you're staring at your partner or your friend that you're traveling with, and then they do a countdown saying 3, 2, 1, and the guy hits the button, and the floor gives way, and you shoot just straight down. And I never thought I was a hairy person until I saw my GoPro video where it was facing down, and my arm hair was just going straight up, and it is terrifying, honestly. So I did that like 6 more times after that, and I'm never going to do that thing again. But the top one, well, that was very, very cool and very relaxing. So if you want to try a thrill, this is definitely the slide for you on there. On there as well, there was zip lining. There's a hot air balloon called Up, Up, and Away as well. There's over 13 different water slides, 2 family raft slides that are a lot of fun. I think you can have 3 or 4 people on one. They do it by a weight average as well. So there's actually a scale that you have to step on as a group, as a collective weight, because if you have 4 adults, you can kind of see it in the bottom. Actually, I think I have it on my next slide here. This bottom right thing called slingshot doesn't look that scary until you're the one and your back is going all the way up there, and then you're like, oh gosh, yes, that is terrifying. The adventure pool, great area for the younger teens as well, kind of fun area to play. And then we've got a huge wave pool every 15 minutes. We've got water on, water off. I thought it was just a great area to walk through, splash my feet, kind of cool down when the water was off, and then I continued on my way around the island as well. Zip lining, again, there's 3 different zip line points around. This is a lot of fun. If you've zip lined in somewhere like, say, Costa Rica or so, yeah, that is pretty funny. If you want to try it out and you've never tried zip lining before, this is a great first time experience to give it a whirl. And Jenna, this is where you and I will be heading over there. So Jenna, this is going to be our jam, our little one. So myself, Jackson, your little one, we are going to be hanging away here in the kids' thrill. The The pirate ship is so cool. I have to admit, I look at everything with whole different eyes now as well. But you've got basically the water cannons, you've got this water slide set for these kids. My little guy loves water slides, so I know this is where I'm going to be all day long, and this kid is going to be smiling ear to ear. What I actually really mean by this is grandma is going to be sitting here all day long because she's going to be wanting to watch this, and I'm going to be at one of those overwater bungalows. So I've got some selling and work to do, but if she wants to see us smile ear to ear, this is where grandma is going to be with my little man as well. So tons of activities to do, whether you're looking to sit and flop and relax, you're looking for some action and things to do for that. Now, we do actually have some itineraries that will do Perfect Day twice in a single voyage as well. And we do have lots of different restaurants and bars all around the island. I like this one. This one's called Captain Jack's. They generally have a live musician playing in there. They have like board games like Jenga and stuff sitting on there. But so if you want to grab like some chicken wings and a beer or something like that, this is a good little casual spot to relax. It's like nicely kept cool, misting stations, etc. So from here, that was a little showing of the December 18th, 2022, 11 night. I think personally, I'm looking at doing this voyage myself. I think it is a fabulous itinerary. Hard to see this actually, but down here where this little lagoon is, way back in the day before the dock, this is where the little boats would come in here and tender, and we used to unload guests here, and that's how we would do it before. So this is really being transformed with this $250 million investment. And now the zip line actually goes right across here. So one zip line will go through that spraying section and the other one will stay dry. So you have the choice if you want to get wet or go through there. So that was just a little useful fact to share. So a cruise like this for our balcony stateroom, we're looking roughly around $3,300 Canadian, rounding up by a few dollars, taxes all in. But Expedia Cruises does have an amazing savings on this for about 2,900 Canadian, taxes all in. So that was, I just thought was a great cruise that included both Labadee and Perfect Day on an Oasis class ship that was recently reamped and has so many neat bells and whistles. I think this is a fabulous voyage. This is one that I'm personally looking at as well. Right now, we do have a fabulous promotion, buying one guest, getting the second person 60% off. The price that you were looking at, I did the math, included it in there for you as well. But any other cruises out there, you're going to get to speak with your travel consultant, your travel advisor. They will be able to work this out for you. We still have our Cruise with Confidence program. So if you were to book before the end of the month and you're like, I want to book, but what happens in 4 months if I decide that I can't go because I don't like the color of the moon tonight? This would allow you to cancel up to 48 hours prior to departure and receive a 100% future cruise credit for 12 months out from the next time. So you can take this credit, apply it to a different ship, different destination, whatever it may be that you wish to do as well. So hopefully this was a good, quick overview for you of our health and safety, a few of our award-winning ships, a few of our destinations around the world, 2 of our private islands, and a couple of the awards that we have won over the last few years. And when I say last few years, I mean 18 consecutive years we've won Best Cruise Line in the Caribbean. We've won Best Cruise Line overall for 18 consecutive years. Best Sales and Service. So again, the delivery of the wow when you are on board. And we're really excited, of course, to win for Best Entertainment and our newest island, which, well, I shouldn't say newest, but our newest upgrade of Perfect Day at Coco Cay. So I hope you enjoyed. I think I finished with about 4 minutes to spare, surprisingly, on this. I see there's been a few chats that have come through. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second so that way I can see everybody again. And this is the part where you tell me I was on mute the whole time and you heard nothing I said, right? All right. So, Sherry, I pass the mic back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Colin. I so appreciate it. It's even, you know, I've always enjoyed these presentations, but I have to admit it's even harder to watch right now because I want to be there so bad.
Wow.
And you just took me down a walk down memory lane because I was actually at Perfect Day at Coco Cay just before some of the thrill parts opened up. So we were super excited. And at that time, the boardwalk or the pier was not built yet. So we did get the pleasure of the tender, which was fine. But you are absolutely correct. I have been on cruises in the Caribbean where if it's a little choppy, or perhaps, if it's tender port, you may not always be able to get in. So what a way to know that for sure you can guarantee that you're going to have your perfect day at Coco Cay. So I believe when I was there, I went swimming with the stingrays. So that was a very interesting experience for me. So absolutely beautiful. So there's been lots of chat going on, and just some folks sharing, comments at different times when you were speaking there about how much they love being there and how beautiful it is, and also loving the bungalows. So Liliana, you mentioned the bungalows, and I know you very well, and I can see you enjoying that for sure. But I think we all would, wouldn't we? So if there's any questions, certainly put those in the chat. Also too, you could unmute yourself as well. It's in the top right-hand corner. If you put your cursor on that, you can sort of see that and unmute yourself. But I did see a question. People would like to know sort of what's included in the price. So, right, yeah. So you had mentioned the pricing that was there, and I saw, Canadian dollars, taxes included. Can you sort of expand upon that, Colin?
Yeah. So when you're looking at a Royal Caribbean cruise, it's all of your entertainment, and that's a big part of it. All those things like that flow rider, that thing that oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank to my own names just right now. Ripcord by iFly, that skydiving that said is going to cost roughly around $130 on land for 30 seconds is free. These activities that you're going to see on board, there's no additional cost. Now, truthfully, I'll be honest with you, if that was $130, I probably wouldn't do it as well. Like I realistically would struggle with that. But knowing that it was complimentary, I gave it a whirl. And then I was like, gosh, I'd love to do it again. And what happens is you sign up for it in advance. You can say when you want to go. But when I was all geared up, they're like, well, the next group hasn't shown up. Do you want to go again? I went about 4 times in a row. And I felt by the 4th time, I was becoming a real pro at this. So entertainment, your activities, everything from your ice skating to your laser tag, your bumper cars, all of these are included. We do have packages that you can build things out the way you want. So we do have drink packages. So if you do want to get a boozy package, you can get that. You can get a soda package or a refreshment package. And I really do like that we do that because, well, one, we are a family brand first. And I don't think I know we would not want to have 4,000 guests with boozy packages running around a ship, to be honest with you, right? But
especially on the iFly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, that'd be terrifying. That'd be messy too. But I can say that, like, even before having Jackson, my wife is not a big drinker. She would maybe like to have a glass of wine here, a glass of wine there. So for us to buy a drink package or to pay for a cruise that would include it, it's not practical for us, right? Or buying, if you wanted to get a dining package, an unlimited specialty dining package, okay, pre-Jackson, I probably would have bought the specialty dining package because I like to dine in all those higher end restaurants. There's nothing wrong with the regular complimentary restaurants. I think actually on any cruise line you go on, I think it's a nice treat to at least go a couple times to those specialty restaurants, at least once, maybe twice, because they really are nice. I think every cruise line out there has at least a steakhouse. And if you were to take like the Keg restaurant, which is a good steakhouse, these steakhouses on any cruise line are that step up, like a Gotham's or a Morton's or a Hyatt, for really not that big of a price. I like the package where I could build, and I want that for myself, where maybe some of my friends that won't interest them. So you can build and customize the cruise how you really see fit. What else am I missing on there?
I would like to add to that as well. When you talk about that, what's really nice about Royal Caribbean, and in particular the Oasis class ships, great for groups of people who are traveling as well, and like family groups, or so as an example, if you have grandparents and mom and dad and and the grandchildren all going, there, as Colin already mentioned, there's something for everybody. But there's also too then the packages, right? So say grandma and grandpa want to have the boozy package, or they like to have some quieter time, or they can build up their package, and maybe they don't really care if they have the Wi-Fi, but the grandkids it may be big, or for mom and dad who still need to keep in touch with work or wherever people are at. So they can also get different staterooms and categories, and so price points. So that's what I really like about Royal Caribbean, is the fact that it works for everybody at whatever budget you're at and whatever experience you want. So and I often say the Oasis class ships are a destination in themselves. You know, they
They
get
really are.
the bonus of ports. So in particular, I mean, you go on the ship and you have a 7-day on that ship, and holy cow, like you barely see it all because there's so much to do and experience. And I will say I've done the iFly as well, and I wasn't really sure if that was something, because the idea of jumping out of a plane that's perfectly good seems scary like no end to me. But I absolutely loved the iFly. It was so much fun, and all of our kids did it. We did it, and I agree. I think I would do it at 74, like your mom as well. So
Mhm.
um, Len and Kathy mentioned too that they thought the ripcord on board was $130. So that was good. I'm really glad that we clarified that, because it is included on all those things you do get to go and do once. And the entertainment is superior entertainment. Like, you know, anyone who's seen it, it's fantastic. And you're right, Colin, it's included. And I do agree
Yeah.
that ice skating rink is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I would
And
say
then when
my,
you,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, even like their shows, like you look at the actual real Broadway shows, those would traditionally cost you $100 to go see, well, 100 US. So what is that now? Like 400 Canadian? I have no clue what the exchange rate is. I've stopped paying attention to
A
that
bit better
for
now.
days, but is it better now? But whatever it is, it's still, that's complimentary. You're not, and if you don't want to see a show, you don't have to, but knowing the entertainment level really is, there's all different sides, whether it be the Aqua Theater, the extra, you're not going back to that same venue every night. It just really does offer a little bit of something for everybody. So yeah.
Oh, for sure. Like one night you can do the Aqua Theater at the back, which is jaw dropping with what these
Mhm.
guys do, and they jump from these little tiny, I don't know, yeah, whatever that is, about this big, and they stand there, and then as the ship's
Yeah.
moving, these guys dive.
Yeah.
It takes your breath away, or they hang on top of you off of these little wires. It's incredible. And into then the main theater, into the skating rink. You can go ice skating too, and you know, and there's little entertainments areas all over the place. Like as I said, you've got so much to do, and that's what makes it so exciting. Are there any other questions out there? I know I have one more, but I don't want to be the hog.
I think you did also say, when you said about the multi-generational, you're absolutely right. That is really where we do shine, because it is something for everybody, where everybody's got what one is in the mood for is going to be very different than somebody else. And you come together at dinner or at some of these events. So yeah, when it comes to multi-generational, it really is a win-win for everybody on board. So
And it's a great way to, especially with all of us, with all of us, you know, still not being able to travel quite yet. You know, great idea to bring the families together. If you have family members you haven't seen for a while, you know, to meet up on a ship somewhere where everybody can have that vacation and still be together. What a wonderful way to celebrate getting back into travel. Sorry, Ev, go ahead.
No worries. Colin, just speaking of multi-generational, does Royal Caribbean still offer the family time dining if people are traveling with kids?
Yeah, Jenna, you're going to be signed up on this in a couple of years with myself very, very soon. So my family time dining might be the coolest thing of all. So just on the dining idea, we have your traditional early dining, you got your traditional late dining, you got your my time, meaning come when you please dining as well. You've got all those options. And then my family time dining is probably the coolest thing of all. That's basically where, let's say it's Jenna, myself, and two little ones. We go off to dinner at 6 o'clock, and as we're ordering our glass of wine, little ones would be ordering their meal. 15 minutes into the whole service, basically as our wine comes out, their meal comes out. 15 minutes into the whole process, the little ones are done, and which really means, so are we, right? The U staff come down into the dining room now, round up all the kids, and put them in the closest closet we have. No, they take them back up to the Adventure Ocean Club. So they take them back up to the kids club, and they get to go have fun with all their other new friends that they've met. But it allows mom and dad to sit there and enjoy a 5-course meal, go and see a Broadway production show, and know that like the kids are having a blast. They're loving this, but you still got to have your family time for dinner. I think it's the coolest thing. Yeah, great question.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Does anybody have anything else for Colin? I mean, it was such a thorough presentation too. And obviously, you know, I think you said 300 different ports and destinations. So there's something for everybody in different classes of ships, as Colin mentioned. So if you have any questions or there's something you might be thinking of, or you just want to some curiosity about maybe where you could go, or by all means, please reach out to your vacation consultant, and I know they'll be following up with you as well, just to check in if you have any further questions. We will, of course, send out this recording to everybody too, if you'd like to watch it again, or if there's something you just want to see. So, I can see Liliana saying, "Can't wait to cruise. Lots of catching up to do." No kidding. I think we all. I'm not one who likes to fly, but I will be so grateful to get on an airplane just to go somewhere. So obviously we're all in the travel industry, and everyone who's on here loves to travel, and we've all missed it terribly. So please keep in touch with us. And we're here, as Colin mentioned, we're local. I know we have a big brand, Expedia Cruises, but we are independently owned and operated, and we sure do appreciate your business and your support. I won't lie and say it hasn't been a tough year for us in the travel industry, but we're here. We love it. I've been in this business since the middle of the 90s, and we're not going anywhere. I'm like Colin. I think I have a picture of about that age as well, getting on a ship. So, and my kids as well. And my granddaughter was born last year, and she'll be going, I think her first cruise might be that Oasis class ship there, Colin. So good for grandparents and grandkids. So, and everybody in between. So please think of us, working with a travel agent and a vacation consultant does not cost you any more. Colin just showed you that by calling Royal Caribbean directly, you're actually going to pay more. And we often have additional promotions. We have our Expedia exclusive staterooms that Colin mentioned that often has extra onboard credits as well. So, please give us the opportunity to work with you. We do appreciate the business. And with that said, thank you so very much for joining us this evening. We wish you all well. Please stay safe, and we look forward to helping you get on that plane eventually. Okay, take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Colin. Appreciate everything. Okay.
Bye.
Night.